Let's now talk with Center Square's Brett Rowland about groups warning that the Middle East's truce may not ease the economic fallout of the conflict. Brett, thanks for taking time with us this morning. Clearly, we're after that Tuesday imposed deadline with the president saying, hey, we're going to do 2 weeks now of negotiations. Want to get your thoughts on Caroline Leavitt's yesterday talking about one of the really choke points of the economy being the Strait of Hormuz and how energy markets are being impacted by that. And she says this 2 weeks, that strait should remain open.
The president's red lines, namely the end of Iranian enrichment in Iran, have not changed. And the idea that President Trump would ever accept an Iranian wish list as a deal is completely absurd. The president will only make a deal that serves in the best interests of the United States of America, and he as a negotiating team will focus on this effort over the next 2 weeks, so long as the Strait of Hormuz remains open with no limitations or delays.
Now, Brett, question I've got is, we're looking at the prospect of 2 weeks without, the ongoing operations here and maybe some flow through the strait, but has the economic damage already been done?
Certainly some already has been done. Those gas prices shot up to the highest level in 4 years, a 30% increase in some places more. Those prices will not drop quickly. They go up very quickly. They tend to drop much more slowly. And there's multiple factors going on there, including the upcoming switch to a summer blend, and demand for travel during the spring and summer months usually drives up prices. So there's multiple factors here. The other big issue is that the Strait of Hormuz, as Caroline Leavitt said, they want it open, but ships seem to be just trickling through that strait right now, where it's such a critical waterway for oil and gas, but nothing's really moving. They said about 7 ships got through yesterday, according to vessel tracking firms, and that's less than 10% of a normal day. About 140 ships you normally go through that strait on a regular basis, and that's just not going to result in a quick return to pre-conflict levels.
And again, we've got 2 weeks here of negotiations, and we're already a few days into that. We're not seeing as much flow through the straits as maybe the White House would like, or even people at the pump would like. Again, look at those AAA gas prices. The current average for regular gas at $4.16 a gallon. That's up slightly from yesterday, but it's still up. Diesel is also up about 2 cents from yesterday. But again, still up. And Brett, as you said, this is the highest gas has been in 4 years. The president, when he ran against, Kamala Harris, was talking about the Biden-Harris administration bringing about massive inflation. How is he going to navigate this? Because this is expected, especially with those freight costs, going to be increasing because of the diesel costs. How can they thread that needle here?
It's going to be tough. Consumers are definitely price sensitive, and fuel, we know, is used to transport goods in all over the country. Most of our goods, at least the last mile, is by truck. A lot of our goods come imported through ships. So those diesel prices are definitely going to be a factor in rising costs. Trump and the Republicans have a tough challenge here. It is not going to be easy. If this conflict continues, or if the ceasefire doesn't hold and those prices come back up, it could be even worse.
Yeah, the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank Group, and the World Food Program put out a joint statement that says the Middle East war upending lives and livelihoods in the region, already triggering one of the largest disruptions in global energy markets in modern history. An increase in oil, gas, and even fertilizer prices are expected to lead to rising food and food insecurity and prices going up. This is clearly a warning from an international community here.
Yeah, this is not just limited to the U.S. This is going to be a global in scope, and you've got world leaders all around the globe who are watching this very closely, especially to see if those ships start moving through the strait.
Now, there's obviously the economic cost and people having to pay for the goods they get and the fuel they receive at a gas pump. But there's also the taxpayer cost of these ongoing operations. And as you've been reporting, Brett, $1 billion per day in taxpayer costs from those operations. Tell us about a supplemental that could come down the pike, and just how much does the Department of War cost taxpayers per year?
So the Department of War is one of our biggest departments. It's always been one of the largest sectors of especially discretionary spending. But so there's been talk of a $200 billion supplemental, but the Pentagon and Trump have not confirmed that number yet. They've said maybe somewhere in that area, but haven't given a precise figure. The $1 billion a day figure is also interesting. That's a high end estimate, but we really just don't know how much this is costing per day. It's going to be a lot. We know that operating those the ships, having all those people and all those resources in the area is expensive, especially given the fuel prices we just talked about. But those costs are going to remain in place. Trump said last night clearly that our military is going to remain there until something more solid has been worked out. So we've got a lot of costs, and then Trump is already looking at the budget for next year. He's proposed a 44% increase, which would bring us to 1.5 trillion, which would be the largest military budget in a long time. But he's got big plans for that money, from the Golden Dome missile defense system to building back the munition stockpile that he says has been depleted through the war in Ukraine, and then also conflicts here in the Middle East. He says we have plenty of munitions, but we know that based on what the Pentagon's doing and the money it's spending, in some cases even joining with other companies, investing directly in companies to boost these munition numbers.
And again, as you've previously reported, and as your most recent reports with the international community making these statements about the long-term economic consequence that people are already expecting just from the past month, let alone this 2 weeks, we're going to have a ceasefire. But if this continues to go on, it's gonna economic impacts, the higher taxpayer cost, that's going to stick with us for quite some time.
Yes, for sure, and I think that everybody knows that. Both sides of the aisle are counting on a supplemental. How much it turns out to be, we'll have to see.
And obviously, we'll also be watching what happens in Congress, if any kind of war powers resolutions advance. A lot of moving pieces in this, and the taxpayer cost continues to mount. Brett, thank you for taking time with us here for the Center Square Daily.